This is ITTV.
Yet another exciting part here at the Asus press event in New York City is talking about gaming. Of course, we got to talk about gaming among other things. ROG, gaming, video editing. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on here. And joining us now is Jake Kulinski from Asus. Tell me first of all about ROG. I'm going to guess it's similar to what it says on your shirt here.
Yeah, the Republic of Gamers, it's been around since 2006, so it's been almost 20 years since ROG's been a thing, but it's really just celebrating gamers of all kinds, right? We make laptops, desktops, mice, keyboards, monitors, phones, and now stuff like this, the ROG Ally X.
So ROG is part of Asus.
It is, yeah. It's like a sub-brand of Asus.
Gotcha. And when we talk about this, so those of you who are listening on the radio or the podcast and not yet seeing the video, race over to intotomorrow.com because you've got to see what Jake is showing. Tell me about this cool device that we had to pry from people's hands here.
Yeah, so the Ally X is essentially a handheld Windows device. So it's got Windows 11, and it can do literally anything a Windows device can do. So you think of using Word, browsing the web, all those basic things, yes, but it's also a gaming device, right? This is built like an old school gaming console you might see, but with Windows packed into it, and you can play quite literally almost anything on it.
So it's almost, number one, hard to imagine that this device being a Windows device, the 7-inch screen, I believe it is, right? And look at that, there's the desktop of Windows with everything you would expect to see on Windows. I would definitely need my reading glasses, though.
Yeah, it's a 7-inch panel, so it is, you can obviously change the settings, and you can enhance that, and you can change the font size a little bit if that will help with you, because, of course, that's a challenge for a smaller panel. But it's got the Windows interface, and we also have our own interface called Armory Crate to make it a little bit more navigatable for someone that just wants to get to their favorite games, go from one game to the next, and because this is made for playing games.
Of course, and that's the key. And the fact that you said you can play anything you want on it, does that mean if you've got favorite games from various platforms that you can then play here?
Yeah, exactly. And that's one of the things a lot of our competitors can't say, where we can work with Steam, we can work with Xbox, we can work with Epic, we can work with Battle.net, and these are all different PC gaming platforms, and this device does all of it.
I'm hearing my audience in my head saying, no, come on, I mean, how is that? But does it work as well with all of them? And apparently, from what I'm hearing, it does.
It really does. It's a masterful device. And I just want to talk a little bit about like the original Ally and this one. This
isn't really Ally 2, right?
Correct.
But Ally X is this new one just introduced.
Yes, precisely. So the original Ally came out just over a year ago. 13 months ago, that hit the shelves, and that was our introduction into this space, which was a big deal, right? We kind of were taking on a whole new sector in computers. And because this is much closer to a console, but the Ally X, the key differences are all changes that were made with the community's feedback in mind. So the joysticks are a little bit stiffer, they're a little bit snappier than they used to be. The buttons have more spring, they're more tension. They definitely
more of a tactile feedback while you're playing.
Exactly. The device itself is a little bit thicker because we doubled the battery. The battery used to be 40 watt hours, now it's 80 watt hours, which is impressive, right? So you get a lot of game time on it, and the weight is like only a little bit more, because we did a lot of internal work to bring the weight down, so that we didn't increase the weight too much by doubling the battery, because you can't make a battery too much lighter. A battery is a battery, right?
True. You're stuck with however it is. But 80 hours of playing time.
No, well, it's an 80 watt hour battery.
Oh, 80?
So it doesn't translate to 80 hours of game time, exactly. But that's the rating. Yeah. I wish it played for 80 hours, but yeah.
Pretty amazing. And the popularity of the first one, no doubt, had you come out with the Ally X, right?
Yeah, even I work for the company, and I was surprised that we released a second iteration so quickly, but it's because we had such concise feedback from our audience for these changes that we've made, the rounder handles, the buttons, the sticks, all the things I mentioned, and it just feels right? Because fundamentally, performance-wise, it's very similar to the original. That's why we're not calling it the Ally 2. Once we change the processor and maybe some other bigger changes, maybe then we'll be ready for an Ally 2.
And the first one also worked on Windows and did similar things, but you've made so many improvements.
Yeah, fundamentally, the first one is the same. It's just inferior in a few physical ways and the battery size.
This is much more gooder.
Much more gooder. Well said.
Is he a talk show host? Yes, I are. Availability and price, has that been determined yet?
Yes, sir. These actually come out on July 22nd, and it's going to be $799.
Okay, and he doesn't mean just under $8, $799. But look, you got a Windows machine, and it'll play any game you want and do it well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I have thrown so many brand new titles like AAA games at this device that I play on my desktop PC, and honestly, in a lot of ways, I prefer this.
Love it. Well, thank you, Jake, for spending a few minutes with us here at your press event in New York. And continued good luck. No doubt there'll be other iterations because it gives you the warm fuzzies to get that feedback from your users.
Yeah, very true. Nothing is better than community feedback. I mean, we read everything, whether it's Discord, Reddit, you name it. We read it, and then we take it to heart. And we really just, our engineers, they nailed it.
ROG, the Republic of Games, right? Of gamers.
Gamers, yes, correct.
Gamers. And we talked about availability right around the corner, $799. And this is an amazing device that is probably getting the most attention at this event.
I'm a little surprised by that just because like we've shown it off already. Like we showed it off just, the last 2 months. So I thought the hype would have died down, but it really hasn't. So that's really cool because this is near and dear to my heart. And to see everybody still super pumped about this device, I mean, it's awesome.
And while folks go to asus.com, there's an even better website for this device.
Yeah, you can go to rog.gg to get directly to the gamer side of Asus Republic of Gamers. That's our website where, it's one and the same. It's just going to take you to a subpage of Asus, but
.gg is a domain?
Good game.
No. Okay, they thought of everything. Thanks again, Jake.
No problem.
I love it. Do check out the video at intotomorrow.com. You got to be one of the first on your block to order or, in fact, get this device. And we'll get more information and lots more to come from the Asus press event in New York City. I'm Dave Graveline. Stay tuned right here on the Advanced Media Network.